All right, we are live again for the first Tribal Council of Day 3. Filing into the Tribal Council area shortly is the new Madamic tribe following a swap. They ended up losing out on the last challenge, and in they come. Oh, okay. Not shit. Okay, great. I almost canceled it. Pause, please, because we're going to take a look at Ethan, Caitlin, Gina, Francis, and Joe as they file into the Tribal Council area this morning.
Okay. So, Ethan. This is 2 times now you kind of been put in a situation where you have to make a decision. I think it's fair to say this one a lot more weighted than the last. Take me through your thought process as far as who you were sending over and why.
I don't know. I think it got sprung on me and my mind was racing and I was trying to figure out anything that could possibly help me out in the future, and it just, whatever came to my mind at the moment happened.
Were you happy to have the control, or would you rather have that been in somebody else's hands due to any implications it could have for your game?
I don't know. I think I like and dislike both aspects of that. I think that having control helps you solidify some bonds, but not having control can make it so that you're in an unfavorable position in the game.
Joe, you obviously are kind of the odd one out here. We have Francis and Gina, Caitlin and Ethan, both with their loved ones. Do you think you, quite literally being on an island right here, does that make you an asset to one of the pairs, or does that make you an easy target?
Yeah, I mean, it could really go either way. I mean, both pairs have pitched their case to me, so it does give me a lot of pressure to make a decision to go one way or the other. There's obviously a fear as well that the 4 of them could just come together and vote for me. I'm hoping that, you know, we've been playing this game for a couple days now. Like, I have formed relationships with people, I have formed bonds with people, so I'm hoping that those continue to carry forward. And I just have to put trust in that and hope that I'm making the right decision.
So both sides have kind of given you their pitch. As far as your decision making, what's driving that? Your head, your heart, your gut?
Oh gosh, all of the above. This was not a position I thought I would be in. I could potentially be breaking up a loved one's pair right now, and that is not something that I thought I would have to do. So, sorry, I forget the beginning of your question.
It's okay, you're good. You've more than answered it.
Okay.
There also are the former tribe dynamics to consider. We had Joe, Caitlin, and Francis together on Ossipee, and Gina and Ethan together on Madamic. Caitlin, do you think that is playing a role in today's tribal council?
I mean, we did go to an extra tribal council than them, so it could be an easy, like, decoy kind of thing to make people think one way or another, but they definitely have an impact. How they impact it, that is up for discussion.
Gina, it is hard to not notice that you're experiencing some emotion right now. Where does that come from?
Oh gosh, let's see. Lack of sleep, lack of food, the phenomenal rain we've had, the immense sun and heat, the fact that this game and this experience has been absolutely incredible. When Francis suggested we do this, I thought, what are you thinking? This has been absolutely amazing, and I'm just not ready to go home. And I feel like I am. I certainly don't want to. I feel like I've been lied to. I feel like people talk a good game. And I feel like I'm not near as big a threat as other people that are sitting here. So,
Okay. confirm you don't want to be any more direct about those thoughts and feelings?
I mean, I think, quite frankly, I think Ethan and Caitlin are absolutely amazing. I've been calling Caitlin a rock star since day one, which feels like it was 38 days ago instead of 2. I said, there's nothing either of them can't do. They've got a phenomenal physical game. They've got a fantastic social game. I think if either of them make it to the finals, they're the winner. I don't think both of them should make it. I think it's time to split them up, and I think one of them should go home.
Okay. Before we kind of shift that discussion, Francis, your mom says that you kind of drug her into this. What has it meant to you to be able to see her come out here and, I think it's fair to say, really take the game in stride? What has it meant to you to be able to play with her?
It's meant so much to me. I've always wanted to play a live game, but I knew that she would be amazing at it, even though she was really nervous about it. I came in, told her she's going to have way better of a social game than I am, which has proven to be very true. And it's been just amazing watching her just find her footing out here and get to play Survivor for the first time. And I mean, even competing against me in challenges, but getting to watch her like be successful has been really fun. And I'm just so happy to share this experience with her. And yeah.
Obviously we just swapped. It's hard not to think about a merge, especially, I say drop your buffs, and I think some people are thinking, are we merging, are we swapping? Is the merge looming in anybody's mind, and is that going to affect any decision making right now?
Absolutely. Yes. I think the merge is on everybody's mind, because now we have to think about, in the future, how we want to proceed in the individual portion of the game. We all have to think about challenges and strategic and social and who.
Those are the things to think about.
I mean, that is kind of Survivor. We have to think about how those will play into the longevity of our games.
So Gina was quite frank, and she said, she thinks this pair of Caitlin and Ethan are really strong power players, and seems like she is maybe vying for Joe's vote to get one of the two of you out. What is your pitch to Joe to where it should be one of you two?
I mean, obviously we really appreciate that you think that we're winners, but I think it's so early in the game that you can't decide a winner right now. There's still like over half the game. How many people have we voted out? Like five or six. Just because you're a front runner now doesn't mean you're going to be a front runner in the future. I still don't think that we're front runners, but if that's the pitch being made, then that's the way I will pitch it back.
You guys obviously had a long time last night to sit and ruminate on things, and being a one-world situation, you were all together. Does a night of going through that just torrential downpour change dynamics at all?
I mean, I just think it's an experience that, in the grand scheme of the world, so few people get to have. I mean, who sleeps 7 people on one tarp under an 8x8 tent in the it wasn't freezing, in the torrential downpour? I mean, I shoved my soaking wet body into a soaking wet sleeping bag and should have been absolutely miserable. And I just kept thinking, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. So, I mean, yeah, I think it definitely changes dynamics, just because who does this?
Yeah, misery loves company. And I think that's the hardest thing when you're out here. You bond so much because you're going through a special experience, and then you have to turn around and vote somebody out. So, with that being said, are we ready to vote someone out? Okay, Ethan, you can get us started.
All right, as these players go off to vote, we are going to go off as well in the other direction, and we'll be talking about what we just heard. And this is your time to ask me questions and just kind of get some lowdown knowledge. So let me grab my little notebook and we will be off. All right, just heading back up this hill away from earshot of the players. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat and I will answer them. And that was honestly like a pretty fabulous tribal council. A lot of material and thoughts were covered. So, let us see. All right. Nearing the top of the hill where we can start to talk safely. Okay, let's get out of, as usual, the dumpster shot. So, okay, so a ton of emotion at that tribal council. We came in and pretty much almost immediately Francis and Gina were crying, even as they were both filing into the tribal council area, both definitely thinking that it could be one of them. That has been a common theme so far this whole game. Gina's been a pretty big player, has orchestrated a core alliance in her first tribe, but has also, along with that, kind of been a bit paranoid, always nervous, even receiving a couple votes yesterday, which of course did not help that fear, I am sure. So Gina and Francis kind of always thinking, you know, oh, it could be me, not quite sure. And so I was really interested, obviously, as we went into this tribal council with this particular group of 5 players. As Kelsey touched on, there were a lot of different ways that you could kind of split them up. You had, of course, the 2 pairs of Gina and Francis and Caitlin and Ethan, with Joe sitting in the middle. So one thought was, okay, are both pairs just kind of join up, kind of commit to not losing either loved one, and then just kind of give the boot to Joe? There is also the Madamic versus Ossipee split, and so in that case, Caitlin, Francis, and Joe, part of that core alliance from yesterday that Gina ended up forming on her tribe, and then obligating the players on the other side to kind of form the same situation. So those, of course, Caitlin, Francis, and Joe, having worked together for quite a bit of yesterday, now sitting there facing Ethan and Gina. Although that is a hard sell to vote out your mom. Not all of us can be Ciara or Sierra. And obviously Caitlin and Ethan, we've seen that like brother-sister bond. And although we did hear Caitlin in a tribal council yesterday talking about how she would be willing to vote out her brother should that come to it, as far as, you know, if she had to win. I think at this stage of the game, as she said, there is a ton of game left. It just does not seem like a necessary move at this time, personally. So, yeah, let's see. On the, as a little bit of like background info, so last night as we heard about, it was torrential downpouring, as Gina said, and so I was told this morning that Caitlin and Ethan and Joe really did not get a ton of sleep last night, and so they kind of were 3 that just kind of, you know, stayed up all night and like just really bonded, like trauma bonded over that torrential rain experience. Although we did hear that even though a lot of the players in both games did not sleep last night, they did nap this morning, because of course we got that little bit of a later start since last night was so late. So that, there's a lot to be said for that kind of bonding experience where you're all miserable, you're all experiencing the same thing, it's late, you're exhausted, there's just nothing to do but talk or shiver. And so I imagine they were doing a lot of both. So yeah, we'll see. One really like fun fact that I wanted to tell y'all about Gina and Francis is, as you guys heard, Francis had asked their mom to play with them, and when we cast them as a pair, we told Francis, and Francis actually surprised their mom Gina, and on Christmas morning they gave her a present, and Gina opened it as Francis filmed, and we saw the absolute joy and excitement and shock and elation that Gina had. She was like screaming and so excited. So it's been a really, really special, you know, event that they've been looking forward to literally since December. And as we know, it's now July. So that was really touching, and I'm so glad that if their journey in the game together is ending right now, that hopefully it's been positive experience for them both. I don't know. We shall see. It looks like they're not quite done with the voting yet. So again, if you guys have any questions, let me know, and I will answer them. Sorry, there are no powers that any of these players have, so there's, you know, it's kind of interesting that Gina said that felt like she was being lied to, because there's no powers to avoid. There's really nothing anyone here who's being voted can do, so whoever is getting the majority of the votes here is going, although I do not know if the players know that. So of course it's super tempting in Survivor, especially when you're close to people, is to kind of give them a heads up, let them know it's going to be them. But in this case, they might not be doing that for fear that their plan might get thwarted and it might come back to bite them. So yeah, of course it's also hard because this is the swap tribe of 5. The other tribe had 6, so there is less room to hide. So that is always tough, but I think that pretty much covers it. So we'll head on back as the last player is heading out to the voting booth. Also, just a side note, I'm so sorry about earlier when the live feed cut out during this immunity challenge before this tribal. I had been using my main streaming phone to do the entire recap show, the entire swap announcement video, and then of course also the first part of that blue game immunity challenge. So I have been blasting AC on this phone for the last like 30 minutes and been charging it up. So it is nice and cool, and hopefully that should not happen again today. But again, I will try to get back and up and running should that happen again today as fast as I can. So thank you for your patience and for keeping it locked here. We will now head back on into the TC area. And as you can see, we have players that are no longer in the game, are hanging out to watch. And we also have volunteers and alum that have come out to also just take it all in. So it's pretty fun that we all get to just hang and take in the game and do what we love. All right. And we are back in TC. Gina having returned from casting her vote.
Okay, I'll go tell you the votes.
All right, and off goes host Kelsey to retrieve the votes that were just cast. And now all the players can do is wait. All right, and host Kelsey now returning with the voting box.
If anybody has an idle advantage and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so.
If you pulled one out right now, I'd be so fucking impressed. I wish I had one to pull out. I figured everyone would know if you did.
I'll read the votes. First vote, Gina.
My name's spelled great.
Second vote, Ethan. 1 vote Gina, 1 vote Ethan. Gina. 2 votes Gina, 1 vote Ethan. Mom, that's Gina. That is enough. Please bring me your torch.
of the Tribal Council area. Gina, we're just going to keep walking this way. You're still on the live stream, so as soon as we get far enough, we're going to just get your thoughts and get a chance to chat with you. But this is your time, so just as we walk, you just do what you need to do, okay? All right, we're just going to keep heading on this way, and maybe once we get to near the top of this hill, we'll have you stand to the right over here so we can just chat with you. Okay. All right, my dear. So Gina, this is your time. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? Let us know what's going through your mind.
Oh my gosh, so many things. I know I've said it before, but this has been absolutely incredible. I know this is just a game and all these tears are somewhat ridiculous, but everybody back home thought this was the craziest thing I was doing, and nobody understood that I don't get shelter, I don't get food, I don't get to change my socks and underwear. Like, what are you doing to yourself? I mean, the very first challenge, starting running up that hill, I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to make it. And honestly, Ethan's the reason I made it up that hill, that very first challenge. He kept me going, and I appreciated that from the get-go. And I think I did better in challenges than I expected I would do. I knew I could have a pretty good social game. But there were things that I did that really made me feel like a rock star. I mean, like...
With good reason.
So, I just didn't want this experience to end. And being out here with Frances has just been amazing. She's such a great kid, such an amazing person, and just to be with be with her here like this has just been something that I could never even have dreamed of. So.
Absolutely. I'm curious to know, what was maybe one thing that surprised you about the experience out here?
I think what surprised me was that I can do this shit. Like,
hell yeah.
It's okay that I'm 48. It's okay that I'm overweight. It's okay that I'm not in shape. It's okay that I don't have perfect health. It doesn't mean I have to outlive. Like, this was...
Absolutely. And you have so much to be proud of. You were a force in this game. You were making alliances. You were giving it your whole heart, forming those connections. What is something that you're the very most proud of out here? You have a lot to pick from.
Oh my gosh. I think it's that I just was who I was. That's me. What you saw is that's all me. The good, the bad, the ugly. That's just who I am. So I think that's what I'm probably most proud of, is just that I stayed true to myself. I think I'm proud of the fact that I was able to form an alliance. I felt like I really kind of helped initiate that first alliance of 5 on my original tribe. I don't know, that slingshot challenge with the giant slingshot, not that baby slingshot, that thing sucked. That giant slingshot, like, I was rocking that. I will, however, buy a baby slingshot when I get home, and I will master that thing before I come back and do any more of these.
Wonderful. Well, before we let you go, Gina, you and Frances were competing for an incredible charity. It's pronounced Thurber House?
Thurber House.
Yes, Thurber House. So this is your chance to shout them out, tell the viewers what they're about and why you chose them.
Yeah, so Thurber House it's an incredible organization. So James Thurber was an American author. His house is in Columbus, and they have a Thurber Center, and Frances started attending writing camp there when she was, I don't even remember how young she was, but she went to camp like all through middle school and high school, and then she was a camp intern and a camp counselor, and now she teaches young writers studios, and it was just a really safe place for her to be her. She didn't have that where she went to school.
Absolutely.
So that was her safe place. And that's where she could truly be herself. And I am forever grateful for that. The people there are absolutely amazing. Meg and Kathy have just been like a big sister and a second mom to Frances. And I will love them forever for their role in her life. So...
Well, what an incredibly worthy cause, and thanks to you, they will be receiving a donation on your behalf. So thank you so much for sharing, and we're so happy you are here. We're going to let you go kind of collect yourself and head on over and get a hot meal. And yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Of course, Gina, take care. All right, and there you have it, our first vote out of the day for the Blue Game. And yes, we had a Sierra moment where Frances did vote out their mom. Very wild, a lot of emotion. Gina has been an absolute force in this game and really shaped the kind of the entire Blue Game by forming that initial core alliance, and as a result the core alliance on the other side. So she is absolutely MVP game changer of this game and really kind of guided the trajectory. So we are sad to see her go, but we're so happy she had an incredible experience, and we're so happy that all of you seem to be big fans like we are. We're going to go ahead and let you go now. It is now time for the Red Game Tribal Council, and then we will be live streaming again after that, and I don't quite know what we will be doing, so see you in a bit.